So let's create our method to join the game now. Okay, so maybe let's put it right after this create game. So let's say join game. This is going to be a void method as well. Join game. So here we also need to take some required arguments. Okay, so since we are joining the game, we need to be coming with the data of the game that we are joining. Okay, so let's have a required document snapshot, because we are joining the game from Firestore. So we need to get the snapshot of that document so that we extract the data of that game that we are joining. Okay, so let's say object like that object, and then put a now check there. Then this will be our game. Okay, the game that we are joining. This is the data that is coming from the game that we are joining. Okay, let's also have a required argument, user model. This will be our user data, and then also let's require function, our own success, and then let's also require another function. So let's require this on fail function on fail. So the on fail, let's pass a string like that. Even here, if we want, we can put this so that down there we just call on success. Okay, and then next, what else can we pass here? I think that's all. So let's create our method. This will also be asynchronous. So the first thing that we can do here is to get to check inside the game, the available games, if we have also created the game. Okay, so first let's slap this in the try catch block. So on Firebase exception catch E, we are going to call our on fail with a e.toString. Okay, there is our on fail. And then inside here, let's check if we have a game created by us. Okay, because this time we are joining. Okay, so get our created, let's say created game. So here we're just gonna say await Firebase Firestore dot collection constants dot available games dot document, which will be user model dot UID, and then we want to get this document. Okay, so this will be equal to, let's say, final my game. We just want to get this game if we have created the game, because this time we are joining, so we don't want anything created by us. Okay, so what we can do here is also, let's create some variables up here. We can create them on top, or you can just put them here, it's still fine. So let's create some variables for, we want to save the game creator's ID, his name and his image, and we also want to save our ID, our name and our image. Okay, so let's start with a string game creator ID, let's say UID. This will be equal to empty string for now, and then string game creator name. This will be empty. So the reason why we are putting these up here, because we are going to use them in other classes. Okay, game creator photo, like that. This will also be empty. And then let's also save the ID of the person who's joining this game, string. So this one we can say, we can just give it as a user UID or user ID, like that. This will also be initialized as empty. Then string the user name. This will also be an empty string. Let's also get a string user photo. This will be an empty string. Okay, then let's get the getters. So get, it's a string, this should be a string, get creator. Let me just copy this for time saving, and then let's remove an underscore. This will return creator ID, like that. So let me copy this a few more times. So the next one will be creator name. This will be name. Let's remove the underscore here. This will be the next one. Paste that. Remove the underscore. Then paste that. The next one will be user ID. Paste that. So this should be like this. This should be like that. Okay, these are our setters and getters. These are initialization and getters. Now let's set this data. Okay, so after we get our game, let's set this data. Let's give it a comment maybe. First, let's say get data from the game we are joining. Okay, from the game we are joining. So for creator UID, we need to get it from this game that we are joining. Okay, so we are going to get that to the game at a field called constants dot creator UID. Okay, that's how we are going to get that. And then the game creator name, this one, this we are going to get from the game at the field called constants dot game creator name. Okay, then let's just copy this for time saving. So we have game creator photo This we are going to get to game creator photo. Is it game creator image? Yes. And then the user ID. So we are the one joining here, so we are going to get from our data, which is this. Okay, so here we're going to get it from user model dot uid, then username is going to be user model dot name. Let's close that, and then the next one is going to be user model dot image. So this is going to be a user photo. Then we can delete the last one here. And then also let's set the game ID. So let's say set the game ID. Oh, actually we don't even need the comment because we have put here get data from game we are joining. So the game ID, this is going to be to come from game at the field called constants dot game ID. So after we set this data, let's just notify the changes. Great. So let's remove this spacing here. So now we have notified, we have set the game data. Now let's check if we have a game, because if there is a game inside the available games, we want to remove it, because this time we are joining the game. Okay, we don't want our game to be inside there. Okay, so if my game don't exist, let's delete our game. We are joining a new game, so let's delete our game before we join, so that it doesn't crowd the database and then just doesn't confuse things. So maybe let's add the comment: delete my game, delete my created game, since we are joining another game. Yeah, let's say delete our created game since we are joining another game. Okay, so we're just gonna say await my game dot reference dot delete. Okay, so that's how we delete that game. And then now down here we need to join the game. Okay, so here maybe let's make a game model now, because we need to save a lot of data for that game. Okay, so let's say initialize the game model. So let's create the game model class. Okay, so inside the models here, let's create a new file. Let's name it as game model dot. So let's create class game model, and then here let's give it some variables. So first let's give it a string of game ID. We're going to need that. And then so we are going to need the UID of the creator, and then what else? The game created the game creator ID, the game the ID of the other player, and then what else? We are going to need the list of moves. We are going to need the position thing, and then who won, stuff like that. So let's go on ahead. So first, let's just copy this a few more times. We'll change the strings. So we have game ID, and then let's do create UID, and then the other one we'll call it the user ID, and then next let's get the position, this position of the game. So position the position fan, and then next let's create the, maybe we need to check the ID of the winner. So let's say winner ID. We can update that if someone wins. We put the ID of the winner there, and then we need white's time, and then we need black's time, and then what else? We are going to need maybe the boolean to check if it's game over. Also we need to check the current move. Yeah, so let's say white's current move. We need to check this white's current move, and then let's also get black's current move, and then maybe the boolean for is white's 10. Is white's 10. Yeah, we're going to need that. And then also another bool to check is game over. Is game over. And then what else? What else we need here? So let's check the square int. We're going to say square state. Square state. Square state like that. And then what else do we need? Let's see, maybe board state. Let's put it as a string up here. Board state. And then we also need the place state, another string which will be a place state, and then we're going to need a list of moves. Okay, this will be a move, and then let's name it as moves. Okay, so let's import this. So let's correct that. We need to put we close that properly. Okay, there's the things that we need in our game model, and then let's create a constructor. So let's say game model. We need to say required this dot create UID. So this is the first one is a game ID, and then here that's when we put create a UID required this dot position thing. Then one other thing is we didn't put the UID of the other user. So this is just the creator's UID. Let's put another one, string. This one we'll call it as user ID. Okay, because we only have a creator ID, we don't have the other user's ID. Okay, so after creator's ID, instead of position thing here, let's put that user ID, and then let's put the rest here. Let's just copy. So let's see, position thing, and then we have winner ID, and then we have white's time, black's time. So let's bring this down, let's format this. So we have current white's move, let's copy that and paste it a few more times. Then we have current black's move, then we have board state, and then we have play state. Then we have these booleans, so let's copy that again. So we have the boolean of is white's time, is white's 10, I mean. Then is, so this should be with an error, is game over. Then square state, which is an int. Then let's also get the required this dot moves. Let's save to format it. Let's try to format it. Alright, so there is our constructor. What's going? Okay, so we need to close it out properly. Let's close this. Let me go back. I've messed up something here. So let's close this like that, and then down here, let's say create our to map. Okay, so let's say map string dynamic to map, and then let's return we are going to return the map now. Okay, so here it's the same. Let's have a constant of game ID, which will be game ID, and then let's put the rest. So let me just close that and then copy and paste this really quickly and correct them. So we have game ID, and then we have creator ID, which is creator ID, and then we have user ID. Alright, so we have done this. Now it's time to create all these constants again. Okay, let's create these constants. I'm just gonna copy one of these and come down here and then paste. So it's the same process, it's just to create the constants. Let's do that really quickly. Alright, great. The constants have been created. We can go back and then our toMap method is done. So now let's create our from map. So it's a factory game model dot from map. Let's say map. Inside here we create a string / dynamic, and then let's have our map here. Okay, our map like that, and then let's return our game model. So now we can go ahead and give this. So let's we are getting it from the map here, so it's going to be map at a field called constant dot game ID, like that. So let's copy this. And then let's just change this to create a UID, paste this, and copy again, paste this, and then change this to user ID, paste this, change this to position thing. But now first let's bring it down. Let's format it like this. Then let's close it. Now here what we need to do is we also need to put default values. For example, if this game ID is now, we need to give an empty game ID, so we do it like that. So if it is now, we'll return an empty. Even here it's the same. Even here, all these strings, it's the same. Even here the same. So let's continue. So here this is going to be a winner ID, or else it's an empty string. This it will be white time, or an empty string. This will be black time, or an empty string. This will be white's current move, or an empty string, black's current move, or an empty string. Let me remove this. And then the board state, what's the data value? So this will be board state. What's the data type? It's a string, so or an empty string. And then the player state, this I'm sure it's this is what play state. What's the data type? It's also a string. Let's return a string. So this is a boolean. There is a white 10, or it will return false if it is empty. So this is also a boolean. Is game over, or it will return false. Then the square state, so this is an int, so or it will return 0. Then what else? So the moves, this will, let's put a list. We need to say list dot move, and then dot from. So we need to put the element here now, which is our element, this from moves. If this is empty, we're going to return an empty list. Okay, so this will be our game model class. Okay, let's just go through it again. So I think we are okay. So now we can close this and save, and then we'll go back to our game provider and then continue here. So now here we need to call our game model.